Panetta, who is one of the president's former defense secretaries, blasting Washington and the White House, saying the biggest threat to our national security is the inability of the nation's capital to get anything done. Listen.
You want to know what the biggest national security threat is to this country right now? It's the total dysfunction in Washington. The fact that so little can be done by the Congress. They can't even resolve the issue of homeland security. They can't deal with budgets. They can't deal with immigration reform. They can't deal with infrastructure. They can't deal with other issues. If they wind up not being able to deal with this war authorization, that sends a terrible message to the world.
That is a complicated answer and one that needs dissection, too. Dr. Ben Carson wrote the book, You Have a Brain, A Teen's Guide to Thinking Big. He's also Professor Emeritus of Pediatric Neurosurgery at Johns Hopkins University, with us back here at America's Newsroom. And, Doctor, good morning and welcome back here.
Good morning. Good to be with you.
What do you think about what Secretary Panetta just laid out there?
Well, I think he has a lot of validity in what he's saying. You know, the problem with Washington is that we've all become Democrats and Republicans instead of Americans. And everything is aimed at enhancing one's political position rather than strengthening the nation. And unless we are able to get beyond our political affiliation and start thinking about what's good for us as a people, we're doomed. A house divided against itself cannot stand. It never has stood, and it never will stand.
Who leads out of that maze, then?
Well, the president is the person who is supposed to be the leader. You know, the definition of a good leader is someone who can take people who have different agendas and pull them together and move them in the same direction to accomplish a goal. We have exactly the opposite of that going on right now. It's not too late. You know, if the president wants to have a good legacy, this would be a good time to start it. And let's start looking for ways that we can do things that strengthen America and not place everything into a partisan arena to cause people to fight each other.
Well, you know, Panetta also said the presidents learn from their mistakes, and certainly you would think that, you know, given the experience, especially when he was referring to ISIS in terms of Secretary Panetta. What has the president learned, do you think?
It's not clear to me that he's learned much of anything. I mean, hopefully he's learned that we're not dealing with a JV organization. They're extremely sophisticated, and they have tentacles that are growing throughout the world. They're still in their adolescent stage, and this is the time when we can crush them. But if we allow them to mature into a full-grown tree with deep roots and thick branches, it's going to be almost impossible. We need to do it now. Winston Churchill said, fight your enemy while you can beat them, because if you delay the fight, you will eventually be fighting them for your life. We need to understand that.
Just last week, the president said his job when it comes to this terrorism is like a mayor fighting crime in a big American city. And what he said was, if the mayor's successful, then he'll take the crime out. And suggesting that over time we will judge whether or not he is successful and whether or not he takes on ISIS the correct way. Now, you've given this great thought, and you just quoted Churchill suggesting we need to get after them now in their infant stage. What would you do, Doctor?
Yes. Well, I would use every resource available. Military, banking, sanctions, you name it. And I would not hesitate to put boots on the ground. You know, we need to be the leaders. The coalition will form if it has a leader, but you can't sit around saying, well, you guys do this and we'll do, you know, this is serious. And so I would commit everything to eliminating them right now. And we also have to make sure that our military, which is extremely talented with very good leadership, is not put in a compromised position where we're trying to micromanage them. We have people trying to manage the military who know nothing about the military, know nothing about military strategy. And our military needs to know that they're not going to be prosecuted when they come back because somebody has said you did something that was politically incorrect. There is no such thing as a politically correct war. We need to grow up. We need to mature. If you're going to have rules for war, you should just have a rule that says no war. Other than that, you know, we have to win. Our life depends on it.
I've got to go, but people are curious about your future. I think about a week ago you said you will explore candidacy come May. Is that still your schedule in the springtime?
We are. If I make an announcement, it will be in May that I am running.
Okay, Doctor, thank you. Ben Carson with us this morning.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time. Patty Ann.